Your cat doesn't know your face, not the way you know hers. She can't pick you out of a photograph. She can't spot you across a crowded room. But the second you walk through that door, before you've said a single word, she already knows it's you. That's not a coincidence. That's memory. And it runs a lot deeper than most people realize. 1. She doesn't remember your face. Picture this. You've been gone for 2 weeks. You walk back through the front door, and within 30 seconds, your cat is weaving between your legs like you never left. You assume she recognized you, and she did, just not the way you think. Cats don't rely on faces the way humans do. Their eyesight, while sharp for movement and low-light hunting, isn't built for fine facial detail at a distance. Researchers found that cats can distinguish individual human faces, but they process them differently. Less like a portrait, more like a blurry silhouette associated with a feeling of warmth. What she actually remembers is a signature. Your specific scent, the combination of your skin chemistry, your laundry detergent, the food you've been eating. A cat's sense of smell is roughly 14 times more powerful than a human's. She has been memorizing your personal chemical profile since day one. She's layered it into long-term memory the way you might memorize a song you've heard 1,000 times. And here's the part that gets me. She also knows your footsteps, the specific rhythm of how you walk, the jingle of your keys. Studies have found that cats recognize their owner's voice, and they distinguish it from a stranger's, responding with ear twitches and head turns, even when they choose not to act on it. She knows it's you before she even sees you. She's just choosing her moment. If your cat runs to greet you before you've even fully opened the door, drop a yes in the comments. I want to see how many of us that actually is. 2. The moment she decided you were safe. There is a window in a cat's early life, roughly 2 to 9 weeks after birth, that researchers call the socialization period. During those weeks, a kitten's brain is building its permanent map of the world. What is safe? What is threatening? Who can be trusted? And crucially, who counts as family? Whatever a kitten experiences during that window tends to stick. Not as a conscious memory she can recall like a story, but as a deeply embedded emotional template. If she was handled gently, spoken to softly, and treated with care, that gets filed under safe. If she was isolated, startled, or handled roughly, that gets filed under threat. Both files stay open for the rest of her life. Here is what this means for you. If you adopted her as a kitten, the first person to feed her, to let her fall asleep on your chest, to speak to her in that soft voice you use when no one's watching, there's a strong chance she imprinted on you in a way that goes far beyond training. You didn't just become familiar, you became the baseline definition of safe. This is why some rescue cats warm up to new homes quickly, while others seem to take forever to trust anyone. It is not stubbornness. It's that their brain encoded the world differently during the one period when that encoding really locked in. That first moment she fell asleep on your lap, she probably still carries it, not as a story, as a feeling she returns to every time you walk into the room. 3. She filed every scare away. This one is hard to hear, but it matters. Cats have what researchers call emotional long-term memory, and the experiences most likely to get locked into permanent storage are the ones with the strongest emotional charge. Joy works, but fear works faster. A single frightening event can be enough. One rough vet visit. One time you raised your voice, really raised it, and she bolted under the bed. You may have forgotten it by dinner time. She didn't. This isn't about blame. When cat owners yell at or move a cat against its will, they often don't realize what they're teaching it in that moment. Your cat doesn't categorize it as, my owner was having a bad day. She categorizes it as, this person, this context, equals danger. And that association persists. It's why so many rescue cats flinch at raised hands. It's why a cat who was perfectly fine at the vet as a kitten, then had one painful procedure, becomes nearly impossible to get into a carrier afterward. The body holds the fear long after everything else moves on. But the flip side is just as true. Positive emotional memories are equally sticky. The cat who gets the same gentle chin scratch every morning. The one who always gets a treat after a nail trim. Kindness compounds the same way fear does. The emotional ledger is always running. Make sure your deposits are outpacing your withdrawals. 4. She always knows where you are. You're in the kitchen making coffee. Your cat is somewhere in the back of the house. You haven't seen her in an hour. And then, almost exactly when you sit down, she appears. It feels psychic. It isn't. In 2021, researchers at Kyoto University published a study testing what they called social spatial cognition in cats, where cats mentally track their owners even when they can't see them. The results were striking. Cats showed signs of genuine surprise when a human's voice appeared to come from an unexpected location, as if they had already built an internal map of where that person should be, and reality had violated it. Your cat is not following you around by sight. She's running a quiet, continuous background process, cataloging your sounds, your movements, your patterns. The particular creak of your chair, the sound of you closing your laptop, the way you always pause at the bathroom before heading to bed. She has memorized your daily rhythm and uses it like a GPS. This is why cats so often seem to predict your behavior. She's not predicting it, she's remembering it. Every day you come home at the same time, sit in the same chair, open the fridge at the same hour. That information gets filed and built into her working model of you. She doesn't just remember you, she remembers your patterns. 5. She never forgot the cat you lost. If you've ever lost a pet while another cat was still living in the home, you know the look, the searching, the way she wanders into rooms she never used to visit, the way she sniffs the spot on the couch where the other one used to sleep. You might have been told she doesn't really understand what happened. Science suggests otherwise. Studies have found that cats recognize cats they've previously lived with. They prefer familiar feline companions over strangers, even after long periods of separation. Studies show cats recognize former housemates by scent, spending more time on familiar smells than unfamiliar ones. Your cat carried a detailed memory of every animal she ever shared a home with. Not a vague sense that another creature was once here, a specific, stored profile. Their scent, their habits, the particular sounds they made. When that animal disappears, your cat notices the absence of something precise. The restlessness, the loss of appetite, the increased vocalization. These aren't confusion. They're grief, expressed in the only language she has. She remembers who was there. She knows they're gone. And she keeps looking, because memory doesn't turn off just because logic says it should. This is true of humans she's lost too. Cats often sleep on a deceased owner's things, wait by the door, and show signs of grief. She loved them. She stored that love somewhere permanent. And she holds on to it far longer than anyone gives her credit for. 6. Your voice is all she needed. Remember what I told you at the start that your cat doesn't know your face? Here's the other half of that story. She knows your voice like nothing else. Researchers ran a study where cats listened to recordings of their names being called, first by strangers, then by their owners. The cats largely ignored the strangers, but when they heard their owner's voice, they reacted, ears rotating, heads turning, pupils shifting, even when they chose not to move a single muscle. They heard it. They recognized it. They just decided how to respond on their own terms. Even more remarkable, some research suggests cats can retain voice recognition after years of separation. The unique tone and rhythm of a familiar voice, like how you say, "Hey baby," seems to stay in long-term memory longer than almost anything else. This is what your cat is carrying, not a photograph of your face. Something older and more fundamental, the sound of you, the feeling she gets when she hears it, the way her nervous system settles just slightly when you walk into the room and speak. You've been building that memory every single day. Every quiet conversation at the food bowl, every night you talk to her like she could understand every word. Maybe she can't follow the words, but she follows you in every way that actually matters.